Hello and greetings, my friend. Matt Chevrolet here with another video to help you be fit and live free. And today we're addressing frustration with the whole diet and exercise thing. Because I get emails and quotes from clients sometimes and they're saying like, I feel like I'm putting so much in and I'm not getting back what I rightfully deserve or anything at all. And I know that can make you feel like you're kind of the odd person out, like everyone else is getting what they want, but actually that's very common in our fitness culture. Most people are over-investing in their healthy lifestyle. They're putting in a lot of time, effort, and sometimes even money, and not getting what they want out of it. And so today's video, I'm gonna tell you how you can flip the script so you don't have to put nearly as much in and you're gonna get a whole lot more back. So the first thing you can do to overcome that frustration and get things going in the right way is to give up on the whole idea of you get out what you put in when it comes to your diet and exercise habits. Because I used to believe that for years myself, where if I just give more time and more effort and more work into my diet and exercise habits, surely that's going to produce better results. And there certainly is a correlation between input versus output, and you do need to work hard to get what you want. But there's also the fact that it is most certainly possible to put in a lot of time and effort that really isn't going to move the needle for you. And the more specific your goals are, the more types of work or strategies out there are not going to be productive for you because you're working with a much more narrow range of things that are going to be productive. But the challenge is understanding what is going to be productive. Because if you don't have clear goals and you don't know specifically what type of habits or stimuli will help you achieve them, then your goal becomes just to put in endless amounts of effort, kind of like an archer shooting arrows who can't see their target. And they're like, well, I'm just gonna endlessly shoot arrows all day long and hope through blind luck that I'll eventually hit a bullseye. Because you can't see your target, so your only goal is to put in more effort until something randomly hits. In fact, that was the whole premise behind my book, Micro Workouts. It's actually not about short workouts. It's just when you have the clear objective of what you're trying to achieve in your workouts, you'll find that you can have a productive workout in much less time and effort just because you know exactly what you're trying to accomplish without the junk volume and the endless redundancy and the assumption that I've just got to destroy myself in my workouts in order to have the best chance or blind luck of getting what I want out of my workouts. And there's lots of ways that you can waste a lot of time and energy in your workouts. The first of which is having a warm-up that is just way too long. And I'll be making another follow-up video shortly after this about how to have a much more effective workout that only takes you a few minutes. Because a lot of times, especially when folks come to me and they're like, yeah, I've got this great warm-up, but it takes me 20, 30, or even 40 minutes to go through, I know right then, it's like, okay, you're definitely wasting a lot of time and energy somewhere. So the warm-up should be a very concise, focused version of the workout to come. It shouldn't involve a whole lot of different exercises and things that are just randomly thrown together just because they sound like a good idea. And kind of a good way to think about this is a lighter, easier version of what you're about to do. So don't spend 20 minutes running on the treadmill and mobility work and foam rolling and all this other stuff, because you're no more prepared for pull-ups at that point than if you just went and randomly jumped on the pull-up bar. So a lighter version of what you're about to do, and then ramping up into your actual work sets or workloads for cardio and stuff is going to be a much more efficient and direct way to warm up with less time but much more effectiveness. Redundancy is another thing that adds a lot more work onto your plate without really being all that much more effective. And this is very prevalent, especially in the calisthenics world, where people will come to me with their programs and they're like, I've got 5 different push-up variations. I used to do this too with a lot of just random chest work, like 5 or 6 different chest exercises, when the reality is you only need like 1 or 2 main basic movements and then a couple of accessory things if you even want to do that sort of thing. So you don't need a bunch of different exercises. You don't need to hit the muscle from every conceivable angle. And even if you do like having that variety, you can have different exercises in different workouts. You don't need it all in one workout that's just gonna bloat out the volume so much that you don't have much intensity. So that means you're gonna put a lot more junk volume into your workouts. and you're not really training yourself to get that much stronger or work your body at a high degree of intensity. Misaligned exercises are also a big thing, and this is one of the big reasons why I never liked following other people's programs or classes of that sort of thing, because I've always personally much preferred utilizing calisthenics for the sake of muscle and strength. I'm not really interested in the other stuff. It comes with practice. I'm going to get more hip mobility with my pistol squats and things like that. But no, I don't want to do 50 burpees in the middle of a workout. It has nothing to do with my goals. It's a waste of my time. I don't want to go for a run after doing my pull-ups. Again, it has nothing to do with my goals. Waste of my time. And again, don't get under the assumption of, but I'm putting in the effort, but it's kicking my butt. Remember, when you don't know what your objective is and you're not specifically choosing exercises that help you achieve that objective, you're just going to settle for whatever gets thrown your way. And at that point, you're more likely to just end up doing random stuff that doesn't help you. Another area where people are grossly overinvesting is anyone who's especially interested in losing weight or managing their body fat levels. Because cardio in and of itself, or the attempt to burn a lot of calories, can be a very costly undertaking for the simple fact that we just don't burn fat and calories very quickly. So the only chance we have to burn any monumental amount of fat and calories is to spend a lot of time and a lot of energy doing, anything. And that's not to say that cardio isn't effective. I know a lot of people say oh, you can't out-train a bad diet and stuff, which isn't in the slightest bit true. I've done it for years. It's the simple fact that when we have the goal of just spending a lot of time and energy for the sake of burning calories, we're usually much better off managing diet and just also recognizing that you're gonna burn fat and calories doing anything else anyway. There's no such thing as weight loss exercise because we don't need it. You're gonna burn 100 calories lifting weights or hiking or playing basketball or doing anything else. You don't need to tack on more exercise and more time and more effort purely for the sake of burning fat and calories. So that's why I say don't even bother with it. Don't even take the time and the energy for the sake of fat and calorie burn, because you're gonna burn it anyway with everything else that you're doing. And that takes a whole lot of work right off your plate that frankly probably isn't really doing all that much for you. And the final area where a lot of people grossly overinvest in their lifestyle habits is with diet. Now, of course, diet's extremely important for sure, but we live right now at a time and a place, generally if you're in a modern society and you're watching this on some sort of technological device, chances are very good that it has never been easier for you than any other time in history to have a healthy diet. Food's never been cheaper, more widely accessible, or healthy. I mean, I know there's a lot of fear mongering out there oh, we got all the chemicals in the food and we got inflation and stuff. So yeah, sure, it could be better, but it's never been better than it is right now to actually have a healthy diet. Never been easier than right now. But there's a lot of rules that are, frankly, a lot of times arbitrary when it comes to diet, and that involve a lot of investment of time and energy that, frankly, you don't need to follow them that much. I don't worry about seed oils. I don't worry about inflammation from white bread and things like that. When you're eating to satisfy, which again, it's never been easier than it has been right now, and you're focusing on nutrient-dense foods and satisfying your 4 fundamental appetites of hunger and metabolic support, nutritional quality, and hedonic support, then your diet should be relatively healthy with a fraction of the effort that I see people putting into it. But when I see people who are anxious about food and they're really trying to dial in every little nutrient, they're weighing their food and they're counting their calories and they're trying to really get a handle on things, usually that's a lot of effort that is totally unnecessary, and it's not really going to matter all that much in the long run, especially if you already have some relatively healthy dietary habits ingrained, like you're eating when you're hungry, eat to satisfy, you're not overeating, you don't have a whole lot of emotional issues about food, which, funny enough, a lot of emotional issues with food come actually from dietary culture. And if you don't have a lot of that stuff going on, diet should actually be something you don't need to really work that hard at. So when your workouts get a lot more focused, you cut out a lot of the fluff, and you get focused on the things that are more effective, while at the same time eating to satisfy and utilizing dietary habits that are relatively efficient, not all that much hard to follow. Now you're flipping the script. You're putting in a fraction of the time and the effort into your diet and exercise habits, while at the same time doing the things that make them far more effective. So you're no longer frustrated thinking, I'm putting all of this work in and not getting much out. Now it's more along the lines of, yeah, I don't really have to do all that much, and it's wildly rewarding for me year after year, and I'm getting what I want out of it. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. More details over at reddeltaproject.com. Don't forget, I got my podcast that comes out every Saturday, 2:30 Mountain Standard Time, live feed. So if you have any questions, you can ask me personally then, or leave them down below in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching. As always, be fit and live free.